Okay, looks like we are live, and hopefully we shall start having viewers soon. We are here, and I hope you can hear me clearly, Lillian.
Yes, of course, Abhishek. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, just give me a minute, and I'm gonna just check with the Blue Ribbon people also uh, that we are live indeed.
Great.
Yeah, we are two of us here, but very soon we start getting audience also. So yeah, let's just see.
No problem. We'll wait.
Okay, we are live. I've got an indication, and it's 7. So on the dot, Lillian, welcome.
Thank you so
Welcome to
much.
this call.
Thank you so much. Looking
And
forward to discussing with you.
yes, and thank you for accepting this invitation, Lillian. You are a part of an organization that I have heard of ever since I started my activism journey and Blue Ribbon 1.0, which is like 2000, 2001. No, not 2001. I think the later years. So I wouldn't say we knew it in that version. We knew it since 2010. And I
Great.
gather you've been an activist since 2004, is
That's
what I
right.
gather.
That's right.
And yes, and yeah, I'm happy to have you here, Lillian. We've been really scanning this city for citizens that we can have and have a heart-to-heart conversation with about the city, about what it is to be a active citizen. And so we are very happy to have somebody from AGNI, an organization that we respect, an organization that is around the city with concerned citizens all over. So
It's always
thank you
been
so
a
much for
pleasure.
accepting that.
It's always been a pleasure to work with Blue Ribbon.
Yes, thank you so much. So, so yeah, and just for an introduction for people, Lillian, 2004, she's been in this. So we're like now talking like 17 years since you've been in
Oh
this
my
in the
God.
H West ward.
So I myself didn't
And
know that calculation.
yes,
So I
so
guess you want to know
17 years.
what keeps me doing this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to come to that. I'm going to also, like for your introduction, I'm going to say you're from the H West ward. And
That's right.
I would say H West ward, along with a few other localities in Mumbai, represents the high point for us of citizen activism.
That's
It
right.
represents very active citizenship. It has several prominent citizens who really feel ownership for it. So for us, it's like one of those pockets where
Absolutely.
successful citizenship has happened. So so it's nice to talk to someone from that space which is known for active citizenship. So
Thank you.
maybe we could start, Lillian, with like, yeah,
Of
what
course.
keeps you going at 17 years of this, and here you are talking about it. It's a lot of time. What keeps you going?
So actually, what started as just a small little thing, as just wondering what's going on in my neighborhood. Why are the roads not looking so good? Why is garbage dumped here? Why is the footpaths not walkable? It started getting bigger and bigger. My interest from just the small things started growing, and we already had a very active ALM, like say maybe in 2002, and then they went to sleep. They had one issue which was a garbage issue. They resolved it, and then they just died down. Then I moved into the locality in 2004 in February, and subsequently they found there's a lot of things happening and we should need to get together again. At that time I got roped into participating with them, and I have been hooked. I've been literally been hooked, because sometimes it's not always that you're successful, but when you see success, it is really, really rewarding. It feels like, I finally managed to do something for the people. And there are small little things, like even like, supervising stormwater drain cleaning prior to the monsoons, or making sure when they are doing the roads that it's being monitored, that they're following the process. If somebody's digging your road, finding out have they got the permission to do that, what are they doing, who is doing what. This is our locality. We need to be interested. And that's why every person who is in Mumbai should be interested, because we cannot afford anymore to keep blaming the administration. We need to start acting ourselves. And if we don't do that, the city is never going to go forward. You know, our politicians, it's always this way or that way, and they're never in the way which we want them to be going. So we have that opportunity, we have that in our hands. All our politicians, they know votes and money. So if we come together, we become stronger, we form ALMs, we get together as groups and voice our opinions. Whatever we want to do and whatever we want for our city, we will be able to achieve it. But that means we need to just come out and stand for it and take. So, this has just been going on, and it just goes from one issue to another. Started getting interested in solid waste management, and now it's a full-time occupation when I'm not doing my housework.
Wow. Because it's almost like the city is your home and you're taking care of the larger locality. It's almost like your
Absolutely.
idea of home has expanded to that. So I'm
Absolutely.
hearing several things, Lillian. I'm hearing uh, starting out with a interest in your immediate surroundings and then getting immersed. I'm hearing the joy of successes that happens, which is not always, but there is there. I'm hearing that there's a whole set of things that a citizen can do if they really choose to care. And I'm hearing an inspiring invitation to come together and, like, as citizens, let's do this. So each of those is a
Absolutely.
very rich kind of thread there. And I'm going to go into the last piece because I could feel the inspiring invitation you made to the citizens saying, guys, we need to come on, like, let's do this, let's stand together.
Absolutely.
So I would, it's a slightly coffee with Karan kind of a question that's coming to me, saying that if there were three things, or let's say three to five things that you would want every citizen of this city to do regularly, right? And because you've been doing this for so long, you know which actions are doable, not doable, which have leverage, which are a waste of time. So tapping into your wisdom, what are these three to five things that you say every citizen must?
Firstly, every citizen must register to vote and make sure they vote, because your vote is extremely important. It gives the person, the correct candidate, the chance to come out and do what you want. You need to do that because that's where your voice is. You are coming out in a strong way and your voice will be heard, because it'll be a complete effort coming out and doing that. As well as, you need to make sure that other people come out and vote so that the right person gets elected. This is very important. We seem to think that the election commission is always invariably putting having elections like prefix or suffix to weekends or some public holiday, and people go out on vacation. This is not the way it should be
Yes,
done.
yes.
This is our right to vote. This is where we are failing our city. We need to come out. We need to come out and vote. We need to get other people out to vote. We need to know our candidates. We need to make sure that the elections are coming up. We need to start staying informed, knowing what's going on. We need to know who is the person spending, how much is the budget, what can we allocate it on. We need to prioritize things in our own localities, make sure when after the elections, whoever is elected, they follow what we want, and we get them on board for all our initiatives. So I think that is very important. The other things which may
That are
are also
several.
important.
I just want to say, Lilith, that is point number one, A, B, C, D, E, F. So I'll club it all into being an informed voter, being a
Yes,
voting with
absolutely.
awareness, voting. Yeah. So okay, so that's one bucket.
So
Okay.
the other thing is our day-to-day needs: water, good roads. These are all important. We need to make sure that we come out and we make sure that these things are given to us. This is our right. There are budgets for all these things. We need to monitor the contractors, what they are doing. And my other point would be that, PMC has gone a little ahead. We think that they are still the same corrupt people. Yes, there is corruption. I am not discounting it at all. It is absolutely prevalent. But there are so many new forums that are open up to us, which we can start finding out what's going on. We have, even if you want to make a complaint, there are different forums for that. Now they've got different apps. Now I'm suppose I'm addressing very young people, and they are good with their smartphones, and they're good with apps. So this is a perfect thing for them. This is the way. They don't need to do much. They need to take a photograph, upload it onto Twitter, tag in the different
Yeah.
departments, and your work gets done. So sometimes you could be sitting right at home or
Yeah.
in your car, and you can still get work done. So this is what you need to do. You need to get your phone, and you need to get those pictures, get onto social media, and start doing this. Because even if you don't have the time to come out, this is what you should be doing.
Sure. So second point, basic needs that improve quality of life, everybody filing complaints and making sure the work gets
Absolutely.
done. So that's two. Okay, what's your three? Number three.
Number three is to stay motivated.
Okay.
Don't let anything deter you. Even if it
Hmm.
does not happen, keep trying. The day you give up is the day you are giving into a system which not produce anything for you. You need
Hmm.
to stay absolutely focused and go for it. Without that, it's impossible to get anything done.
So staying motivated. I thought you will put garbage segregation as third. You combine it
that's
two.
that's my hot favorite. Maybe I can do a full thing on that. Yes, yes, yes. Garbage
I thought that
segregation.
was three, but maybe yeah, that's a four, or it's combined with point two because you spoke about quality of
Yes,
life
yes,
and that I think is there. So those are three kind of three broad blocks that you have kind of laid out
absolutely.
for us quite eloquently. And again, like I said, each is such a rich block. We were doing one analysis on saying that if those people who don't vote in the city, theoretically, if they would make a party, they would defeat the winning party by three times, 3x.
Oh,
Because that's
okay.
how we said that out of 100 people, 16 Mumbai vote, and it's a three-way competition typically. So the winner tends to get just a fraction of those votes,
Correct.
15 out of 100, and you have 40 people who are not voting. So it's like 3x the winners is. So it's definitely so important, right? I think that's
Absolutely.
really key. The second, also, we share your experience, Lillian, that the system does respond. We've had, when we do work with young people, file complaints, and we're actually called at the site of the complaint to make sure that, see, this is solved and just explain. So we have a responsive system. In our experience also, I want to plus that MCGM is not all
Absolutely.
bad. There are people,
Absolutely.
well-intentioned people. We've been doing citizen audits, and they have volunteered information following due procedure. So yeah, if people go and trust, it's definitely there. The third piece is where I'm going to go a little deeper, because that's the sticky piece, staying motivated. And I'm curious about the fact that I'm sure as a part of AGNI you found your tribe, and just curious about what are some factors that keep that motivation going, that Josh going. So one I heard was these wins that happen once in a while. You win, that's probably powerful. I can guess the tribe also. Would AGNI or being a part of that be?
Absolutely. So we have a couple of wards in which we are represented. We are not represented in all the wards, but everybody is extremely, at the moment they are in Powai, they are just struggling for their spaces over there, open spaces, and the water bodies. So, each one, so every time something comes up, it's like, you want to be part. You want to be part. You want to give your input. You want to know, they want to know. Like the other day somebody asked in our group, how do I adopt a footpath where there is a Saf Angan policy, but everybody doesn't know about it. So
Yes.
the thing is, I may know something that you may not know. So by asking it in a group, like in our groups, I'm able to share because I am aware, and they are able to take it forward in another ward. So it's very important. In fact, I found belonging to an NGO is so important. We don't even realize that there is representation for NGOs in so many committees.
Yes.
And I've had the privilege of being, I also belong to some other NGOs like Bombay Catholic Sabha. And at that point of time, they proposed my name for a particular committee, which was for street vending policy. So I'm on that committee, and you get a chance to voice your opinion about what goes on in the city and what should be done for the street vendors. It's not just providing for street vendors, also for the people who walk on the footpaths. So there has to be a balance, but there's not always a balance. Like I found I was at a losing end in that forum. Very few people, citizen representation was there. So it was like more than 90% was hawker representation as per the court. So this is where I say, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I made a very good point over there, because as a
And you were heard,
representative,
your voice was heard.
yes, my voice was heard, because we need more municipal markets. BMC has they have passed a plan for 2034, the new development plan, but they have not
Right.
put a single market into it. It's market population, the people population of the city, and the number of markets don't match, and they have not even bothered to increase that. So we are asking these things. When you want to develop a market, don't give it to a builder. Develop it yourself. Give every hawker a place. This is what we are asking. But will the administration listen to us? Our voices are in the minority. So this is where I say, where a lot of people coming, like-minded people coming together, forming ALMs, pushing things together, that will get the city forward. That's what we need to do. And so every time you get put onto a particular committee, or I've had ward officers who've just told a couple of us who are really active in H West, Madam, we want to make a policy for garden waste. Write down a proposal and send it to us. So about 2 or 3 of us have been handpicked. We write down our proposal, we send it to him. They pick up the points that they think would be workable points. They put it together, and the proposal
Amazing.
is out. So now when you see that you are part of the change, why not? Why
Yeah.
not continue?
And this
And it is
you
not
out
that you.
with your
Absolutely. I mean, it's not taken me so much of time. I mean, I've got the hang of it. I know what is going on. And like you say, solid waste management, I love it. I love that topic, because we are so
So I'll
selfish in
come
the
to that.
city.
I'll come to that one separately. Yeah, I'll come to
Okay.
that one separately. But I
Okay.
just want to pause. I think one is what you were sharing also reminded us of Shama ma'am, because she's
Okay.
somebody, an elder we lost this year,
She's
and
my
she would
guru.
come to Blue Ribbon, and yeah, and she's an elder to so many of us, because she would say, "मैं कोणाचा बापालाही घाबरत नाही." Like she would like
Yeah.
go and speak, even if the
Absolutely.
chief minister is in the audience. She had that
Abs-
capacity. So what a lovely person. So just want to send out love to her soul and spirit for being so
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
powerful. And I just got reminded of that energy when you were saying
She's
having
part
your
of me.
voice, and
She's
also
part of me all the time.
yeah, yeah. And every batch of CCF, the Community Connect Fellowship, she'd be the guest speaker who'd leave people dazzled. And by the end of it,
Yes.
people would be like, that session was like the one where I switched. So
I
yeah,
am still
just got
dazzled.
nostalgic.
I am still dazzled. Believe me, I'm still dazzled by the dynamic woman. She was amazing.
Yeah, and I think the ripples, and we're very fortunate to know her and to experience her firsthand.
And
So
to
I think,
work side by
yeah.
side. Yeah.
Wow, that must be like a real privilege. So I'm going to come to solid waste management, but I thought we'll go through the ALM route, because
Okay.
ALM, for our listeners who may not know ALM, and I'll just share what I knew when I first got introduced, was that advanced locality management would be when particular community agrees to segregate garbage, and MCGM then
Abs-
declares it an ALM and gives access to facilities. So I don't know, is it still the same? Has
It's
it
still the
changed?
same.
Is it
It's still very much the
okay?
same.
So
Basic criteria is segregation of waste. You become an ALM, you get an ALM number. You can start voicing your opinion. They have meetings, which are LACC meetings, that's local concerned citizen groups, where we all meet, and they have these meetings where we meet the councillor as well as the officers of the ward. But now during COVID times, a little prior, actually, we've had the same municipal council for a couple of elections, So basically, we have satisfied with him. And since people find it very difficult to commute, we've just opened a WhatsApp group. So we don't have to wait now for 15 days to make a complaint. If you see something, it's right there, put it on WhatsApp, officers are there, it gets done. So it again depends
yeah.
on what exactly the complaint is. Now encroachments may take longer. Pipe leaks, water leaks may take a couple of hours. Garbage may take a couple of hours as well to clear. But the rest of it just depends what the exact complaint is. So it's
Yeah,
going really smoothly, because we are now daily interaction with our counselor. And so we are all proactive on a daily basis. There are some people who will sit quiet in the group, but they know what's going on. Unless they have a problem, they are just content to be on the group, so that's okay.
yeah. I think that's nice, and like I'm my counselor also WhatsApp responsive and very active. And I realized that a part of active citizenship is also making sure the good people or the effective people stay in power. Like in our
Absolutely.
activism, if you throw away somebody who was doing fine, you're like, oh, you did the wrong thing because here was a person delivering at a certain level. So I think it's just
Right.
this active voting, which is so critical in that, and building a relationship, I think, with the counselor, or at least having access on the same WhatsApp group. It's like, oh, how many citizens are on a WhatsApp group with their counselors is itself a great question, and these guys are now
Absolutely.
fairly accessible. So
So the
so
main
that I think,
point, sorry, the main point is
yeah, yeah,
education. The main point is education. As long as you know what,
right,
and you know the forums, you know what are the numbers that you can dial for certain things, complaints, you know that there is an app which is called My BMC. You can download it from the Play Store. You can pay your water bills. You can do everything on that app. So it's just knowing what. After that, it is just
right.
easy, just carrying on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to now go into a little bit of some tricky question zone. Okay, so because that's
Okay.
when it also gets fun. Because yes, fully agree. Now the question is around political parties and councillors, right? So I've had this internal churning of saying that here's a great councillor, but from a political party that I would never even consider voting. And I know that a good councillor can change the area, and local issues, the councillor is like much more, at least in my understanding, a make or break, where it's like that ideological pinch of saying, would I vote for the party, right? And how have you resolved these dilemmas? Is one more important than the other? How do you think about these things?
So basically, I for absolutely for the local municipal election is somebody who can deliver, because if you don't have that
Right,
kind of a person who has got some civic sense, it's going to be really difficult. As it is, like they have this. The prime minister came up with this Swachh Bharat, which also for the toilet blocks. So now we have got. I keep saying we've got more toilet blocks in the city than we have in a slum. So it's like, you'd expect that when you walk in a slum that they don't have toilets in their houses, that every nook and corner you'll get a toilet block. No, but they in a slum they may have some two or three toilet blocks. That's it. Like the one next to my house has got just two toilet blocks, and there's nothing more. But here, every 500 meters you have a toilet. So we need to come up with some kind of policies. What was started in a village for villages to have and to bring them up is now become a city thing. So seems to be sometimes no relation. We do understand that people do need to use the facilities, but do we need it in a residential area where everybody's already, there's nothing? We need it in public spaces. We need it where maybe a promenade is there, or like the gateway of India or something where there is people. Now what happens is, if you create this particular thing in a residential area, you're increasing the footfall, you're increasing the nuisances of especially in Bandra we have got narrow roads. So in every narrow road, if you're going to have a line of 50 autos parked, how do you move? How do you park? Where does a citizen walk if there are some roads don't even have footpaths? So it's because they are lanes. So what do you do? So this is where we need to come out and voice our opinions on these things. These matters are really
on where to
important.
locate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're saying it's more the candidate than the party, then in
Of
that
course,
case, a candidate with a
definitely.
civic sense who's
Absolutely.
able to do things. Yeah, I think
The
one thing
larger
that
picture
in the
would
early,
be,
yeah,
sorry, the larger picture,
sorry,
maybe
yeah, go ahead.
you can go with your ideology and what you think would be good for the country. You could possibly go with that.
But locally you do that. See, another
Absolutely.
thing, Lillian, that I've always wondered, this is early days, okay, when AGNI and the humanist movement were two things I was volunteering, and I was, I think, in my early 20s, so this is like long ago now. uh, or whenever I had encountered AGNI and humanist, and what was interesting was this difference of opinion that I had discerned at that time, because what was happening was that slum dwellers were coming in, and the year from where slums were accepted as legal kept shifting from 94 to 97 to 2000 to 2004, like that kept happening, in spite of citizens opposing. And then there was the humanist movement with equally great intentions to say that, okay, neighborhood, and where will they go, and there's a systemic crisis and so on. So where are you now in this thinking about it? Is it more that, okay, now our destinies are linked, like half the city is slums, half the city is apartments, let's make this work? Or is it still like encroachments are a problem, we should keep them out? Like, where are you on this thought process?
So 72% of the population is living in slums. They are driving our cars, washing our vessels, clothes, everything. They cannot be ignored. But should they get accommodation for free? That's a strain on the system. That's what I don't really agree with. Yes, they can get accommodation. Maybe they could get aided accommodation. They could be given some kind of a rebate on whatever they're getting. But just gifting them land in Mumbai, I mean, it's even the court has said recently, only in Mumbai this happened. That people don't get property like this for the asking. If I squatted, would I get it? No, I would not get it. So there has to be something where the city benefits all. We do need all these people. I am not saying we don't need them. In fact, I use people from there. I have got a lot of friends, and they do want to come up also. And I've got brilliant people from there who, I mean, they are such good thinkers and they walk with me. But about gifting the land to them, this is what our politicians are doing. So it is all vote bank politics. So this is where we need to keep our eyes open. It's when you go to vote, you'll see there are like maybe four candidates with a similar sounding name. This is to fox you so that that particular candidate does not win. So we need to know all
Yeah,
these things. These are the things that they keep us busy with all the nitty gritties, but they are not letting us do the real work. So they distract us with all these things. So we are all getting into all these pictures which are not really what we have to focus on. We have to focus on what we need to take for our areas and what has to be implemented for the city. We need to take the city forward, not do this. So basically,
right.
I'm definitely not of the opinion that they should get accommodation for free.
Free,
That is for
yeah,
sure. There should
definitely
be
not free
some,
ride in
they
the city.
should, yes, they should
Some
get help.
contribution.
They should get help, but it should not be in the manner where they, because I can tell you honestly, most of them, they get the place, they sell it, and they move further into the suburbs. So what has happened?
Right,
They have not only got for free, they have resold it for a higher amount and made a lot more money. And we who are the middle class, we always keep paying for this. So middle class
right,
citizens like
right.
us keep paying for the system.
Right, right, right.
That's what
Yes,
I
I think
feel.
this is a yeah, yeah. And I hear you on that position also. I think that's also been Agni's position, primarily making sure that it's honest, transparent, and ethical,
Yes,
and that not to give away public goods for free for political favors. I think
absolutely.
broadly that. Now, I was wondering, as an ordinary citizen, now that the metros are being built in across and it's creating new parking spaces and new hawking slots and like a whole new range of spaces have been created. And one of the feelings I have is this election, one of the areas what is perhaps at stake is who gets to hawk at those places or who gets to park. Like, because real estate to me is one of the most contested things, and you can really allow privileges. So, also wondering, as a citizen, as a vigilant citizen, then how do I be a trustee, a caretaker of the spaces that I'm in? Like, say, I spot a new hawker. New hawkers keep popping up everywhere, right?
Absolutely.
Where do I go? What do I see? What conversation do I have? Especially if it's an unlicensed hawker, like, how does that work?
So basically, footpaths come under the maintenance department. So you need to make a complaint immediately, because start right at the beginning. If you don't, and once they're there for a while, they say, they were there for so long and you didn't bother, you didn't say anything. So very important. So like in the SAF Angan policy, you make sure you adopt your area, you get all the like-minded people in your area together, form an ALM, start being vigilant watchdogs of the city of your area, and make sure as soon as you have the right to go to that person and say, please leave my area, you cannot squat here.
Hmm.
Call the you That's what you need to know. Dial 100, call the cops, call the BMC. 1916 is their dedicated line.
Yeah,
Always take a
yeah,
complaint
yeah.
number. Always take a complaint number. I tell people, because if you don't take a complaint number, there's no pressure on them. You need to do that. Plus they've got MCGM portal, you put it there. So now what happens is, they have got apps, they got Twitter, they've got their MCGM portal, and everything is getting recorded officially as complaints. You can
Hmm.
download it into your
Right.
complaint number, you can track it, you can go and
Yes.
see which
Yes.
office, which person's desk it is at, where it has got stuck. You can go meet they have got forums on a Monday and a Friday to meet the ward officer. And for anything that's
Yes.
unresolved, you can go and meet them between 3 and 5 o'clock. You can meet an officer between 3 and 5 o'clock any day of the week, and you can start pushing for all these things. Whatever you are seeing going wrong in your locality, get to the ward office. Do it. Either if you can't, if you have the time to move to the go to your ward office, do that. If you don't, do it on social media. Get people's numbers, start calling them up, get representation, get people together and go as a group to show that you are together. That's very important. You need to, as
Hmm.
soon as you see the person squat, start right there. Approach the ward office,
Hmm.
approach footpath from under maintenance. Hawkers and licensing is license department, but it's like a joint thing when it comes to that. You can call it an
Hmm.
encroachment or
Hmm.
maintenance as well as the license department.
Get it, get it. Nice. Thanks for that, and also the fact that there are ward office visits. I'm going to meander. I'm going to meander a bit now, which is, and it's probably a philosophical question on how you think about this, because housing society meetings, these annual general meetings in every housing society are, at least from what I have seen, are like fairly explosive. Like they're filled with its own kind of challenge, and being
Excitement.
secretary or management committee. Ha. And it's a thankless job, perhaps, to be secretary, manager, managing committee, and so on. And that's really made me wonder, saying, is it that when the middle class is asked to get along, get organized, or get coherent, we struggle much more uh, than, say, getting, say, a slum community organized or a tribal community organized, which have more pressing needs? I don't know. So I'm wondering, what's your take on this?
You're so right on this because since I'm very active, there are always people, even in MCGM, in the HWS ward, as well as the neighbors are. Yes, I'm surrounded by like almost 5 slums, so they are always watching me. They're always watching. What is she going to be up to next? What is going to go her way or not her way? And if anything happens, like suppose I've had this actually happen to me, where we are on the back slope of Mount Mary's Road. Okay, so basically the slum is at a higher level than my building, so they have the worst position for getting water because the water has to climb to them, right? So when they see I'm getting water, they say, "See, she has taken all our water." So one time there was this huge ruckus where they wanted to charge in,
Oh,
and they said that we are pumping the water and taking it away from them. And even though the security guards explained, they could not convince them. Then they called me. They said, "Please do something." And I said, "What is the problem?" I said, "Yeah, there was like a huge morcha outside my building." Okay,
whoa.
and
Okay.
I
Okay.
was like, okay, just give me a second. I'll just get some officers, called up the counselor, called up the water department, tried to find out what exactly was going on. Then they told me, better don't come out because the topics may get diverted into other things. Let's stick to just water.
Hmm.
We will all come there. We will meet with them. We will explain to them everything. And in that entire group, because I was watching from the window of somebody's house, I saw all the people I knew and who I talked to daily from the slum, and they are my friends, and they are working in our houses, and they also knew that we had a water shortage, and for several months we were buying water tankers. And later on, after the entire episode, they were convinced, and some new proposal was made of putting a fire hydrant so that the water would pump and circulate in the area. I met these people and said to them, I said, "So," I said, you work in my building, you know that we are buying tanker water. What made you join them?" And they said, whether you're right or you're wrong, when we have an issue and we just all come together. They can be right in it or they can be
Hmm.
wrong in it, but we will stand together.
Doesn't
Whereas
matter.
with
Yeah.
us people, what happens to us in the buildings, we are just complacent. We sit in our armchairs at home, criticize everything, and say, "That's it. We are not doing more. This is going to just carry on, nothing else." So we don't have that kind of groupism that is available over there. And believe me, that strength in numbers that we talk about, That strength in numbers, and that is why they are holding the city to ransom, because they know that they can come out in such huge numbers, they can get anything want, anything. They have to just approach a
Mm,
politician and say, this is our requirement, and it's done. And you try doing the same thing by going alone to them and asking them. They'll ask you, I've actually been asked, how many people are behind you? They only know
mm,
numbers. And once they see a lot of people
mm.
together asking for something, and they know it's going to affect the way the voting goes, they will come round and they will do what you want. So
True.
it is very important that we wake up to this. We have not woken up. Nobody has woken up to this.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah, yeah,
we all call them armchair critics. They sit up there in their houses, they just criticize, and that's it. They are just going on blaming. They're not acting. They have to stop blaming and start
yeah,
acting. That's the main thing. They
yeah.
in the slums, the lower income, they are just together on whatever it is. They just stick together
True.
whatever it
True.
is, and that is what
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
to find in ourselves, in our communities.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. And this, I think, is for me a great time to plug in BRM. Also, BRM is trying Blue Ribbon Movement. The organization many of us are from is trying to fundraise. We're on a fundraising drive because we are doing this with young people, making sure they go out as active citizens, file complaints, and we don't wait till they grow much older. But they're like each one is like mobilizing a community, and it's something we're very excited about, and we want citizens to come and support this kind of work. So that's a request to whoever is watching. We'll just drop a link in the chat box, but yeah, whoever is watching, please do consider dropping in and supporting work. And I can also add Agni, supporting Agni, right? Like this work needs support.
Of
I
course,
think it
we
needs a
need
lot of
people.
support. And
We need people. All NGOs need people. That's
yes,
our power.
definitely. We need people, we need resources, we need people power. Definitely. And on that note, Lillian, also, Agni's been releasing ward by ward analysis. Uh, and do you want to share a bit about that on your website? You've been launching one ward after the other. So if you can share a bit about what what does that look like? F ward, I think, was the most recent one. I think
Right.
got the white paper or what you created. So do you want to share a bit about that?
So yeah, so we are trying to get people more aware of what things are going on, what things are not going on. So once people know that these are the things that are possible or not possible, then automatically, it triggers things in your mind, that where I can come in, where I can pitch in, what I can do. Is things going the right way? Do we need to go another way? What kind of participation is required? What do we need to do? How do we need to go about it? This is all very important. So unless we know,
Right.
all little surveys, so they help you
Sorry,
to.
unless you know. Hmm.
So unless you know what's going on in your area, and other people now will read that this is what our findings are, we can actually be able to take things forward, whatever the issues are, whatever the
Absolutely.
even if it comes to voting, candidates, whatever, meet your candidates, things that you can organize. And these kind of things are very important. They give you the complete feel of your locality and your area, and what is the possibilities and potentials. So this is a good thing that is to be done, and is be done for all. Is being done for all across all boards.
Yeah, and I think just I would say having good quality information aids decision making, and I think we can totally trust the information coming from Agni because
Absolutely.
it's not with an agenda to get elected. It's designed
No.
and run by citizens. It's not
Absolutely.
influenced. So, if I think for listeners who are looking for good quality information, do
Absolutely.
not only look at your counselors, Karya Ahwal, and all that they accomplished. Look at a more objective thing, and Agni is one of those places where you can read about this and talk to your local Agni coordinator also. Uh,
Absolutely. You
so
can
that
share the coordinators' numbers that I had sent you.
yeah,
You can share them so people from those particular areas, they can contact them. And in some areas, it is really small at the moment, the groups. So we need to build up on that. Like, we need more people. So it would be really nice if you share the coordinators' numbers in a link.
sure. So I'll request Akash to kind of, if he can do that, Akash in the chat, if you can do some of that, that will really really help. Tell us about the AGNI journey as an organization. What have been the biggest challenges you faced? What have been your greatest celebrations when over the last, I don't know how, it's been a long time that AGNI has been around. So just curious about your challenges and celebrations.
So there has been many different activities that we do, and some things are citywide, and some things are like locally. Like I have been active in HPS ward along with Shama, and waste management has become such a top priority for all of us. There's no longer that we can just sit down and say, like, it doesn't matter, I don't care where my garbage goes. I keep telling people, just think, suppose you live near a landfill. What would you feel? Would you want somebody else's garbage to come to your doorstep? No, definitely not. I would want you to segregate your waste at home. I would want you to compost your wet waste, or I would want you to come up with some CSR project where you can have maybe a community thing going just for your locality. If somebody has extra space and they can do it, because it's so important. This is all pollution. So we have got different types of things that we feel very strong and dearly about, and I work very closely with Shama on these things. And also, we took this to schools because we believe educating the young mind is the most important thing. If the young child has learned good good things in school and has understood what is required for the city, they are going to come up as good citizens. They are going
Yes.
to be taking they are the art tomorrow. So
Yes.
basically, if they are doing it right today, you can be sure tomorrow is going to be good for everybody. So
Yes.
we've taken composting infrastructure through CSR schools, and they have learned about segregation. They actually do this the composting themselves. And so Auxilium Convent, and there is another school at Bandra, where they are doing such a fantastic job. They are doing taking it to another level. If you look at their schools, you'll think, oh my god, this is like, I never had that opportunity in my school to do that when I was young. And this is like, now even you can do Tetra Pak recycling. There is so many little areas. Then there is Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat, we've been with the ward on several roads. I myself have been on more than 7 roads sweeping. So it sometimes it looks like a photo shoot, I have to be honest. But it is the intention to make yourself put yourself out there with the staff at their level, do it with them, as well as have people see you do it.